What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Film Fan Podcast. This is our third episode, and with me, I'm Blaze.
I'm Darby.
And I'm Austin.
And today we're going to be talking about like childhood TV shows.
So let's just get the ball rolling. Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Ed, and Eddie.
A masterpiece.
So, how much do you guys know about the backstory of that particular show?
None.
Very little.
So, the people that created it, specifically the lead animator and the showrunner, they did adult cartoons like gory stuff and like softcore porn and stuff like that, animation. And the guy who I can't remember his name. I think his last name is Antonucci. He was dared to make a kids show. He was like, I bet you can't even make a kids show at this point, so he made Ed, and Ed and Eddie, this is why Ed and Eddie is like so trippy, because it was made by someone who wasn't from like the children's cartoon sphere. Yeah.
It does make sense looking back on it.
Yeah. Get some elements of like, that's not really kids show-ish, but it's still like, it's still on the line of still being appropriate.
I just remember I was never allowed to watch the show when I was little. And like the whistling intro, my mom could hear it all the way across the house. So every time it was like playing, she would walk in and make me like change it and everything. But it always said TVY7 in the corner. So on my 7th birthday, I remember watching it, and she came down and tried to say something. I was like, I'm 7 now. I can watch this show.
Amazing.
I'm a grown adult now, Mom.
I'm all grown up. I get to watch this. No, I watched that show. I was watching that show like the other week because it's so good. I think that one was it's so smartly written, especially like the later seasons where like they go to school and all that kind of stuff. They just do some really interesting things with it. And it came at a time like right at the tail end of the '90s animation boom, when you had all those weird shows come out of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and all those kinds of things. And so it kind of benefited from like all of those shows' successes. And it was just such a good show anyway that it just dominated. Yeah. Did you guys ever see the movie?
There is a movie?
There's a movie?
What? It's like the movie is like, you know how all those like a lot of the shows when we were kids they'd have a show to end their like run, and they'd be kind of bad,
Okay.
kind of like a long episode.
Yeah.
The end of Ed, Ed and Eddie is the best like show to movie ever. It's so good. They have like full blown character development. You get to meet Eddie's brother. It's awesome. Like
Finally.
it's a really good. It's a good movie. Like it's really funny and really entertaining.
It sounds kind of familiar when you mention like the brother thing.
Yeah, there's a really famous joke from it. Because Double D, who's the smart one, if you've never seen the show, he builds a sextant to guide them to where they're trying to go, and they spend like 5 minutes laughing at the word sextant.
Okay. That part.
Yeah, whenever I've mentioned this to people, are like, "What are you talking about? I didn't know you didn't have a movie." And then I tell them the sextant joke, and they always are like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Yeah, because it didn't feel like a movie. It really felt like just a really long episode. So
I think that's why I remember it.
yeah.
Yeah. One of the episodes that really stuck out was like they like break the fourth wall.
Is it the one where they like steal Jimmy's like outline, and then
Yeah. I remember that part so specifically. He's like, oh, you have something on your sweater, and they pull it, and he's just a puddle after that.
Yeah, I remember when I was a little kid, I was so afraid that someone would take my outline because of that episode. It scared me to death. I was like, oh no, someone's going to take the outline of my cartoon animated body that I don't have. I was so scared. Oh man.
I would get that though if I was little. I think I do remember the outline thing, and I remember like looking in the mirror and being like, do I have one? Like, can someone take it?
Yeah. No, do you remember that one episode that was where Ed, the dumb one, dresses up as a movie villain, like a monster? He convinces himself that he is a monster, and like he kidnaps the entire town.
One of my favorite jokes in Ed, Edd and Eddie, I think. They were like in their basement or something, and they stole the staircase to their door so they couldn't get out. So they were just like stuck down there.
Yeah, yeah. My mom got mad at me for this, so she took the stairs,
Yeah,
and now I can't leave.
that was quality. And those jawbreakers, I always wanted to try.
Oh, those were like the peak of like, I just want one of those.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Mm.
They always look so good.
And business schemes all the time. Just
Oh
get
my
like
God.
25 cents.
Yeah, yeah, man. I remember when I asked my mom for like jawbreakers because of that show, and she gave me like jawbreakers, and I was like, oh, these are horrible. These are just like small hard
Yeah.
balls that are kind of sweet. And,
Oh yeah.
But man, they were just like big balls of sugar, and it was wild. No, did you know? So it ended in 2011. Was when Ed and Eddie ended its run. It had 6 seasons in a movie. It ran from like 2001 to 2011, with hiatuses and stuff breaking it up. Um, uh, Recently, there was talk of a reboot, and people didn't like the fans of that show. Ed and Eddie don't want that because the show still holds up. So in response to that, some people on the internet made a fan sequel show that's still being produced. It's called Peach Creek, which is the town that they're from. If you don't know, and it has like 18, like 17 and 18-year-old versions of the kids.
Oh,
So like the Cankers are all dating the Eds now because they're all like about to graduate high school and all that kind of stuff. It's really
Is
cool.
Plank grown up?
Huh?
Is Plank grown up?
They haven't gotten to Plank yet in the show. There's only like one episode out.
Okay.
It's called Peach Creek on YouTube. If you ever want to go watch it, it's really cool that people are doing that kind of thing for an old show like Ed, Edd and Eddie.
yeah. All right. Chowder.
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 Speaking of breaking the fourth wall,
Where they're so broke they lost the animation.
yes. Or what was the one episode that was like, they had to make a dish and they were like, none of these ingredients are very interesting, and so they just make up a different ingredient to go get to like replace ingredients in it because they need the plot to happen. That show was wild. I remember the one episode where they played baseball, or like snotball or whatever it was,
Oh yeah.
and like Chowder was just not good at it. Those were good times. Good times, man.
That was an amazing
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
I remember
then I
wanting to
slowly-
make gazpacho for a while, and I have no idea
Yeah.
how to make that. I didn't even know what it was when I was little, but I was like, it's in the funny show.
Rada,
Yeah.
rada.
Rada, rada.
Oh my god, that show was wild. That
You
show.
realize dude, and I'm just like there's marzipan.
Mm-hmm. Can you say that
Well,
again, Darby? You got cut off.
Oh, like everyone had a food name, like a fancy food name.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Do you remember how that show ended? The finale of that show.
I have
No.
no idea.
Chowder like falls asleep and wakes up as a grown up, and he has to prove that he knows how to cook.
Trippy.
Very. It's.
Hmm.
I don't know what Cartoon Network was on in like
Ew.
early 2010s, man, but they were on it all the time.
That's what he looked like.
Yeah, that's grown up Chowder. They just gave him more of a torso.
You got long.
Ew, he's so
Yeah,
long.
in that. Oh God. In that era, Cartoon Network, I feel like we're taking like hallucinogenics because like, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy,
Oh.
Flapjack.
Grim Adventures was
Those-
the show that I wasn't allowed to watch. Like, I could watch any show on Cartoon Network, but if Grim Adventures came on and my mom was in the room, I got yelled at. And I'm like, it's like that show was creepy and it had some weird stuff in it, but it was nowhere like near as bad as like Courage the Cowardly Dog or some of the stuff that was on like Ed, Edd Eddie sometimes.
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was just a half-hour children's horror program that we were all watched for some reason. How did that get past the censors? How did You're Not Perfect get past the censors? The little like aborted fetus, like the blue fetus in the jar. Who let that happen?
It's so vivid in my brain. That and Return the Slab.
Return the slab. Oh, I get chills.
That shit was
Yeah,
so
I
creepy.
couldn't. I was so scared of it.
I remember in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, there was like Mandy had this like pet thing. It was like some like toy or a duck or something, but it like died and she buried it in the front yard and it came back to life and like came into her room and like tried to kill her or something. And I got like nightmares from that. I remember like sitting in my bed and my like door was like open. And I remember just imagining it like coming into my hallway and staring at me and like slowly coming in. And I still like, can't find it, but I just like
Yeah.
so definitively
The
remember it.
episode that horrified me was the one where Billy gets turned into chocolate
Oh yeah.
and he keeps eating himself. That
Yeah.
one, I don't. There was just something about it that was just like viscerally horrifying to me. Maybe it's because I was a fat kid and I just was like afraid of eating myself. I don't know what it was, but man, there's something just like genuinely unsettling about being turned into chocolate and then eating yourself. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Do you remember how that show started? Like I've talked about some finales, but that show starts in a really weird way.
I it's like fuzzy, but
Yeah, Grimm um, is challenged by Billy and Mandy to a limbo contest, and he loses, and that's why he hangs out with them.
oh.
He loses to
Melly.
them in limbo, and so like as his like punishment for losing at limbo, he's now bound to these two children.
Whack.
Yeah, I don't. That show, some of those like, but like just like that show, and then like Courage. Remember the Flan episode in Courage?
I do.
What were the what? Because like a lot of the shows like had morals and stuff. Like
That's fair.
Shadow was about growing up and becoming your own person and recognizing what you are and what you're good at. And then like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was like about like don't judge a book by a cover and all those kinds of different things. Courage was usually about like how love is important and respecting others and not. But some of the episodes, man, they were just horrifying.
Hmm.
I just they were just there to scare you. I don't know what
Oh yeah.
they were trying to tell me as a little kid, but they were just there to scare me, I think.
I think they were just trying to come up with the creepiest things possible and then just try and work it into a plot.
Yeah.
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 They're like, how can we keep it friendly but still give them nightmares?
Hmm.
They found ways. They found ways. Another example of that would be Flapjack, which I think was unintentional. Just the way
Yeah.
that show was animated. They had those cutaways where they would show hyper realistic versions of the characters.
The hyper realistic, those were so
And
dope though.
you would see like Captain Knuckles with like all the like folds of his body fat and like his melting
Yeah.
skin and teeth, and you'd be like, "Why? Why am I seeing this? Get this away from me!"
I think that show like
I remember
influenced my humor though, like my sense of humor, because like I saw some clips on Twitter the other week of like Captain Knuckles and everything, and it's so funny. Like it still holds up.
Yeah, yeah. The pilot episode of Flapjack is one of those like mythical lost media things. It aired as a short on Cartoon Network and then disappeared forever. And they run it, but like the original like pilot episode is gone. It's the one episode where they go to Candy Island. Yeah,
Damn.
it's wild. Lost children's media is the most terrifying like pit of. There's just so much weird shit that just got lost to time that will never come out.
I didn't know that.
Dang.
What about kind of like on weird types of things? You have My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
That
Camp Laszlo.
those
Camp
are both
Live.
shows that came like right at the tail end of what we were just talking
Yeah.
about, like that era of animation. And it was like, okay, you've kind of exhausted all of your guys' best ideas. What else have you got? And they were like, what if your
Or a
gym
monkey.
partner was a monkey? What if you went to a camp with a bunch of animals? There was the one fish show where they were like
Oh,
Fish High School or whatever the hell that was.
Oh.
that's gonna bother me.
Oh. I had the three fishes. It was
Yeah.
like two boys and a girl.
Yeah. Yeah. There was that one, and that's also the era that gave us
Fish hooks.
Fish Hooks.
Fish.
Yeah, that was also the era that gave us Total Drama Island.
Total Drama Island is all-time favorite.
That was the show.
Yes.
That was the show that started off the like. Yeah. That show was. I don't. Man, how do they let them do some of the stuff they do in that show?
I have no idea. Oh, I remember like the finale of the first season when like Heather's going through something and like rips her top off and then just blurred, and I was like, this is a children's show. It was crazy. Yeah.
That was one of those. One of those shows that they made that was like that one and like 16 were like they were definitely made for like 15-year-old kids, but that's not who watched them.
Yeah, and Surf's Up, the surfing one. That was 16, but I think they just flipped out some characters.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. Cartoon Network was on some shit, and then they did that live action thing that they did that was like almost killed the company with like Destroy, and the one where they took a bunch of like 8-year-old boys and made them climb trees. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Destroy kind of hit though.
Like
it kind of stopped.
Like 1 in like 5 episodes had something interesting in it.
Yeah.
But like no one cared about what they built. It was only about the explosion. So you would just turn it off for half an hour and you come at the end of the episode to watch them blow something up.
That was definitely like a weird period of time in that, because that's when they were like they just shortened it to CN or something instead of Cartoon Network all like full out.
Yeah.
CN Live. That way it wasn't an oxymoron to have it called Cartoon Network Live.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but then Adventure Time, Amazing World of Gumball, and regular show that saved Cartoon Network after
for sure
the Destroy. So that was like their Renaissance period for sure.
Yeah, there was that gap between like the first season of TGI and the last seasons of like Chowder and Kids Next Door, Codename Kids Next Door, and all their kind of like the end of their classical age and the beginning of their like Renaissance. And then since the Renaissance, they've done a bunch of like they've gone really hard into like kids cartoons, which I don't understand. Because that wasn't what made them popular, you know.
Yeah, and if you about regular show, the creator J.G. Quintel, he made the characters for a college project. So if you go on YouTube, you can see like original like episodes that he made, and just has Mordecai Benson, and they like trip on.
Yeah, what's
it wasn't meant for.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that episode. It's like the Midnight Shift or something like that, and they get high. It's 2 guys get high on LSD, and then they become Mordecai and Benson.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, J.J. Quintel is an absolute nut job. The dude's a complete, but he's also super awesome. Like, he's doing like stuff for Adult Swim right now. I think mostly. Like he has that one show on Netflix. That's in like the regular show style, but it's about like being a young parent.
The kids are all right or something, or we're all right.
The kids are all right, or we're all right. One of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about like 2 like parents.
Yeah. What was your guys' like experience with Adult Swim? Because I wasn't allowed to watch Adult Swim.
I remember staying up for a sleepover one time with my friends, and what was the show? It was the one with the meatball and the fries and the drink. Oh, I have to look it up. It was
usually when Adult Swim
came,
The Hill came on. That's weird, so I turned it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when I was at my friend's house, we'd always watch Futurama.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, that's the one. I've heard of that one. I have never seen an episode of it, but yeah.
It was so weird. Like the meatball would like change shape and everything, and it was so just like all of the stuff like went over my head because I was way too little. But I just remember it being weird and be like, this show kind of sucks. And then I remember Robot Chicken.
Made for you.
Yeah. Robot Chicken was good though.
Yeah. No, I was never allowed to watch Adult Swim, mostly because it came on after my bedtime, and then by the time I was old enough to be up to watch it, I was like, I didn't want to watch cartoons anymore because that was for kids. Now all I do is watch cartoons, so We all change.
Goes full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And then, did you guys grow up watching Pokemon Diamond as you waited for the school bus, like every morning? Or is that just me?
Pokemon like Indigo League, the first one, that was like the first show I think I like ever like watched. Besides like Face and Oswald and like all of that, but like I distinctly remember like watching it with my dad on the couch.
So
Oh my God, Oswald!
this is the section where our experiences separate vastly. I didn't watch Pokemon as a kid. I watched Digimon because I was a good boy, and I watched Digimon because Digimon was better than Pokemon, and it's better than Pokemon now. Fight me.
All my Pokemon badges, you're gonna say that to my face?
I will, and I will say it again. Okay, I've never played a Pokemon game in my entire life besides Pokemon
Oh,
Go. I have no interest in ever playing one of those games. I have seen every season of Digimon, and that show is amazing for the first like 4 seasons, and then it gets kind of weird. But like, Digimon was a good ass show. Pokemon was a kid's show, but like Digimon was a good show. Fight me.
you know what? I think it's time for this podcast to end. Maybe.
Oh my god, no. No, I grew up on Digimon. That was my show. I have the movie on VHS. I watch it all the time.
I do
It's
remember the
horrible.
movie.
It's horrible, but I watch it all the time.
But that was a cool era that everyone kind of went along with Pokemon because we had the cards and the games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Beyblade.
So I watched Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid as well. Like I watched like the first 2 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was little, and then in high school I started playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I bought like a $100 deck, and I was like going. I went to competitions and stuff. I did pretty well.
Damn.
But at the same time, I went back and watched the rest of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, and man, was that show bad! Holy shit, was that bad? Oh my god! Like, Pokemon had problems, like Ash is annoying and the characters are kind of weird, but like, man, was Yu-Gi-Oh just a bad show?
That's fair. I never like was into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I remember everyone talking about Blue Eyes White Eye Dragon or whatever it is.
Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's the most.
Blue Eyes
That's
White
like
Dragon.
it's the highest attack normal card in the game. There's a very complex.
Oh, I remember like kids from my like elementary school having the card and they're like, "This is whatever." But Pot of Greed.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite videos.
I saw a lot of Beyblade. I saw a lot of Beyblade with the little spinning tops.
My friends were
There was-
Beyblade people, yeah.
Like kids
Sorry?
would bring their and fight.
Oh yeah. I remember in elementary school there was the Bakugan. And like I was never into it, but I had some because like everyone had some when I was like little. And you just like put on the metal and they just like turn into things, and that was so dope. Like I had one guy that was like a little worm. I remember one guy like came out, but they were banned from elementary school because everyone kept trying to trade them with each other.
Yeah. So
Were those the?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen.
My best friend from high school, who I played Yu-Gi-Oh with all through high school, and his roommate now are obsessed with Beyblades and Bakugan. I mean, absolutely like they spend hundreds of dollars. My friend Jake is he's a mechanical engineer major, so he like 3D prints attachments for these things.
Oh my god.
And he like built their own like massive arena to play in. Like
That's
they had a Christmas
Dang.
tree in their apartment, and they decorated it with Beyblade attachments.
Damn.
They're nuts. They're absolutely insane. No, I got out of the collectible like show right as Bakugan started to take off. So I had like a few Bakugan, and I was like, these are cool, but like they're not as like easy to hold on to as cards. So I just kind of moved away from them.
I remember my friend had a full of Pokemon cards, and I would just like look at them because like I didn't have the cards, but I had the games. But that was like
I remember the first Pokemon card I ever got was on the bus in first grade. It was a Magmar. Some kid gave it to me. I still have it, but I remember I bought my first pack of Pokemon cards after that, and I had no idea how to play the game. I still don't really know how to do like the card game, but I had like a Mighty Anna, and I would always give it to myself, and I would give my friend like the energies and stuff, and I'd be like, I win because I have the better card and everything. But I loved Pokemon cards, and I would have all like the little binders that you could like put them in and like organize them, and I had these cool little like
Oh,
pins. And in second grade, I broke my arm, and one of my friends came over and gave me like one of the tin of Pokemon cards in it and had a Rhyperior. It was like really good, and I was like, you know what? I think breaking my arm was kind of worth it for getting this card, and it was dope. And not last Christmas, but like the one before, I went back home and I found all my old Pokemon cards, and I had maybe 1,000, but like I was going through and
dang.
like looking at them all to see like if any were like worth anything, and I like got like super into like first gen and all like the different like marks and stuff on them, and I had like some pretty valuable cards, but not like
Oh,
the Charizard and everything.
No. When I played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, I bought a bunch of packs. The first pack I ever opened, like that, I didn't buy the cards. I just bought a pack from the store. I opened it, and I opened a $150 card and a $90 card in the same pack.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, this is the
dang.
best. I'm never buying another pack of cards again. This was awesome. I immediately traded
You're
them
like,
in
I'm
for
sad.
more cards, so you know.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. My
Yeah.
friends and I, last summer, we got like kind of into Pokemon cards again, and we would just buy them from the store and do like the take three, put them over, and like flip them one by one, and we're like going with each other to see who got the better
Yeah,
ones. And
it's because they're designed. The packs are like they're always going to be like filled the same way. So like the holographic's always going to be on the top, so you can just put it on the bottom, and then you can just go and open them all at the same time. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, like there's a whole community on YouTube about opening cards. How do we get to opening cards on this?
I thought-
I have no
So I
idea.
asked if anyone will wait for the bus stop because that's what I did. The bus would stop right outside my house, and Pokemon came at 8, and the bus came at like 8:15 or whatever. So I would like try to stay to the last second. My mom's like, "Get outside, go!" I'm like, "Wait."
Pokemon's more
That's where we
important.
left.
Yeah,
Yes, Pokemon was way more.
I didn't watch cartoons in the morning. I would sleep in until the last possible minute. I'd get up, scarf down a bowl of cereal, and then get on the bus. Like if I could avoid being awake for as long as possible, that's what I did.
That's
Mhm.
fair. I
There
always watch cartoons.
Was there many cartoons on Nickelodeon? I'm blanking on like
Yeah,
shows
I
that
think
were
when
and
we were kids, that was like the age when they did a lot of like live action stuff.
I
So
think.
like
yeah,
iCarly and Zoe 101 and all those things. The
I
only one
loved
I ever,
iCarly.
yeah, the only one I ever watched, but like SpongeBob was like the cartoon on Nickelodeon at the time.
Oh yeah.
Which
The
it's in its
Titan.
like 22nd season now or something insane like that.
Oh,
SpongeBob's old, man. That feels so weird.
SpongeBob is old.
what's the voice actor's name? Kenny something.
Huh? Oh,
What's the voice actor?
Ken Finney or something like that. His last name is
Yeah, like he
Finney.
must by now because he does so many voices too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then like, probably the longest running show he's ever done by
Yeah.
far.
If you're ever bored, look up uh, Sailor Mouth, like the episode where they had the dolphin over their cursing. So they were supposed to just use fake curse words, and then they were going to bleep them out with the dolphins. But the actors couldn't do it. Like they could not make themselves say the fake curse words without laughing. So they did the entire episode with actual swear words. So somewhere in the ether there is a recording of all these like all of Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Plankton, and SpongeBob all swearing at like full volume. It's
I
amazing.
must
Yeah,
find it.
Yeah, I'm searching right now.
the sacred texts.
Yeah, I loved iCarly too. Like even my dad watched it. He'd be like, "I like that blonde one's funny. She's funny." I'm like, "That's Sam, Dad." Like, jeez.
Yeah, that show had a great
That.
sense of like comedic timing. It was really well written.
Oh yeah. And I was like, it was like overly outrageous, but not so much that it wasn't like non believable.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like had a episode.
Mm-hmm. Were you guys big Drake and Josh kids like I was?
Drake and Josh was my show growing up.
Did you know there's only 2 seasons of that
Yes.
show? There's 2 seasons of Drake and Josh. That's it.
I
Yeah,
rewatched
what
it
did
on
you
Hulu
say?
last year with like my roommates, and I was like, it was so crazy how little it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
like
over.
in my it was huge.
Yeah, that was when Nickelodeon was doing that thing where they would get 2 or 3 seasons of a show, which is enough to do reruns, and then they would cancel the show.
Yeah,
So,
Drake,
they'd probably do enough just to make a profit. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I've been rewatching
Like Kim.
iCarly on Netflix now, and like the first season, like the third episode or something, like is when she's like threatened to go back and live with her grandpa or something. I always thought that was like the series finale, but it was like the third episode of the show.
Hey. Oh, wow.
It was
Same with
crazy.
like Kim Possible. There are 3 seasons of Kim Possible, and same with That's So Raven. They were so short.
yeah, they
But
did
like
three
you, they
seasons
made
in a movie. 3 seasons in a movie. That was their formula. The only exception to 3 seasons in the movie was SpongeBob. That was it. Everything else, you got 3 seasons max, and then you got a movie if you were good enough. And then if you were really good enough, you got a spin-off. Like that was the
Yeah.
best you could hope for as someone writing for those like Disney and Nickelodeon shows back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they. I feel like had so many more episodes of everything. I feel like Hannah Montana was long too.
Yeah.
Hannah Montana, I think, was long.
Hannah Montana stayed a little bit longer.
Yeah,
than
that's
everyone.
because Billy Ray Cyrus has power and he can make things happen when he wants them to.
And Hannah Montana was like
Yeah.
a superstar to little girls. Like I went to see her in concert.
Yeah. No.
It was a Jonas Brothers Hannah tour.
Have you guys gone back and watched any of the shows that like you didn't watch as a kid? Like I went and watched oh my god, what's the one oh my god, I'm gonna get crucified. What's the show Dipper and Mabel?
Oh, Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls. I went and watched Gravity Falls like a year ago for the first time. And I was like, how the hell did I never see this before? This is amazing. It's so good.
I've never seen it either, but like I know it's really good and I do want to watch it. I just don't know like how I missed it back then. I think it was like just like weird timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those shows that came out right as I was like, okay, cartoons are for kids. I'm gonna go watch shows that are also on Nickelodeon but have human beings in them.
Yeah. So I feel like Gravity Falls came. We were like going into high school, maybe.
Probably.
I think something
Correct.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, like that's cartoon shows. No, not for me.
Yeah. But I was just watching it. Like, Blaze, you should watch it like today if you have time. Like,
Oh, because Adventure Time is like one of my favorite shows, and I know it's like story oriented like that too.
Yeah, like it's 2 seasons. They're both short seasons. Like they're not long, and they're good. Like it's just really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another good show, like, is super long as regular show, and the ending, the last 2 seasons are insane. Like, I highly recommend watching it all the way through.
I watched like a lot of
Like
that.
it's
show.
what?
I watched a lot of the show.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like it's going nowhere, and then all of a sudden, like the plot just takes like a U-turn, and it's all this crazy stuff. You're like, wow, I'm actually watching. Like, it's building up to something now.
Yeah. That's where you get like the memes of the first half of regular show and it's 2 guys folding chairs, and then it's the second half of an episode of regular show and it's like some cosmic threat is threatening to destroy the earth and a bird and a raccoon have to fend it off. Like that show was so wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the episode of Mississippi Queen where they drank that like weird cocktail of like shrimp and like cocktail sauce?
They made it super spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Like,
I
they
need
were
to
like,
watch that.
how can we get away with showing a drug trip on children's TV? Well,
Oh
if
yeah,
you
they're
don't-
like a soda, and they're like drunk off soda and wings. Like wings got them drunk in the show, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that show was good.
I don't know why spicy made me. Oh, actually, I do know why. So, obviously, the old Teen Titans show is like amazing.
That's like the pinnacle
Yeah.
of animation. Like I think we made Teen Titans, and then that was kind of like, oh, now what do we do?
Oh,
And they tried, but man, Teen Titans is just it's just perfect. Like there's just nothing wrong with it.
it was so good. And I know Teen Titans Go gets a lot of shit, which is like, I get it because it's not, you're following this amazing thing. Like, you can't match the level. But I've
Yeah.
seen some episodes and it's like pretty funny. Because there's
Yeah,
this one where they were all making like this spicy curry or something, or like spicy ramen, and everyone loved it, like Cyborg and Starfire and all that. But Robin, he could not handle spice, and it was just making fun of white people and how they can't handle spice. And he would put like a pinch of salt in something, and he was like, "Ooh, that's too spicy." And
yeah.
like,
I think that the reason people don't like that show very much is because they went like, okay, this is a children's comedy cartoon now.
yeah,
And that's not what Teen Titans was. Like Teen Titans was about like serious like interpersonal drama and
Uh,
abuse and overcoming your personal demons. And then they made Teen Titans Go, and it's like haha chimichanga, haha, and it's like that's fine. Like that show can exist. It's people I can't watch it because I'm just like. Well, Raven wouldn't do that. That's not what she would do. And I'm like, because I just grew up on Teen Titans, and
that's
yeah,
totally.
yeah.
mhm. Yeah,
Did
there's a
you?
lot of like weird remakes now,
Oh yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Going off of like old kid shows, like my gym partner's a monkey. Like, did you ever play computer games about like the kid shows and everything?
I remember logging on to
Yes.
like CartoonNetwork.com, and they'd
Hmm.
have like all these weird, like obviously reskinned Flash games,
Oh yeah.
um,
Mm.
like. But they were just so much fun because it's like look yeah it's just like a Flash skateboard game, but look I'm controlling Double D, so it's good now, and that was
Oh,
that sold our adolescent minds completely.
I distinctly
Like
remember.
Ruben's Disney,
Mhm.
Ruben Stack with his giant sandwich tower.
Oh my god, that brought back some memories on that one.
Yeah. And avoid like the rotten food.
Hmm. There
Oh my
was,
god.
that was like one of my top ones. There was a My Gym Partner's the Monkey game where you had to like go around the school and there's like different like the water level and like you had to, I remember like swinging through these vines in the hallway distinctly. And then I remember the Totally Spies game, and that was like one of my favorites.
Don't
Don't
remember
remember what
that.
you did. I just remember there was a Totally Spies game.
Yeah, I remember that show being on and refusing to watch it because it had girls in it. Um, so I have no recollection of anything to do with that show.
That show was like pretty good. They
Yeah,
actually like changed their outfits in every
yeah, I
episode.
say that, but I watch Kim Possible every single day. So
I
I think I
loved
just
Kim Possible.
Kim Possible.
Kim Possible. The games on DisneyChannel.com, those were
Mhm.
pretty good. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody like pizza party one. Read the hide from everyone or the
God.
Kim Possible's like saving in time thing. Those were so
Oh yeah.
cool.
Who won the Danimals Zack and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody cruise? Who won it? I just need
Oh
to
man.
know. I just want to talk.
Yeah, I just want to talk. I want to see how great it
I
was.
remember buying or making my mom buy like so many of them for me at the store.
I didn't
My
even
mom
like
was
that show. I didn't even like it. I was just like, I
I
want to
didn't
go on a
either.
cruise.
my mom was like, you're getting the off-brand Go-Gurts. Like, shut up. Like, you wouldn't eat animals.
Here's your cup of Yoplait Vanilla Light. Go have fun.
I
Yeah.
want to cruise off of this.
Yeah. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was few seasons too.
Yeah.
Or
Well, there was the original Zack and Cody,
yeah, then the Sweet Life on Deck.
but I think it was one of those ones where they made the 3 seasons of Zack and Cody. They made a movie, I'm pretty sure, and they did Sweet Life. I'm pretty sure that's how they did it.
Oh my god. Remember the Fairly Odd Parents movie where Drake Bell is Timmy?
You've just awakened something in my brain.
How have we not talked about Fairly Odd Godparents yet?
Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron and the crossover Power Hour.
Yes,
That
that
was the
was.
height.
Dude,
I love.
I
He was.
was trying to like fit. I know I was a good kid, but I was trying to fake being sick. I was like, I cannot. If there's a rerun at like 2:40, I cannot afford to be in school. I need to be at home watching the Power Hour. I'm sorry, Mom. This is
Oh
more
yeah.
important than second grade math. Okay, listen.
I hit decimals later, Mom.
No, I remember the Jimmy Neutron movie was a fucking trip and a half. Have you ever seen
Which
that
one
movie?
It's
was?
so good.
They
It's all
get
the
in.
parents.
They all the parents and on the planet disappear. Um, and then all the kids in what's the city's name?
Retroville.
Retroville. All the kids in Retroville get together. They take like an old abandoned amusement park and take all the rides, make them into rocket ships, and then fly to Mars to go fight the aliens that abducted all the
They're like
parents.
alien.
And then they fight a giant two-headed alien chicken.
Yeah.
Um,
I just
uh,
remember Sheen at the beginning goes, "I'm peeing in the shower" when the parents are gone because he can do
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Time I was in the shower, I would just think about that.
Yeah. Oh my god, that show. Holy hell. No, but that
That
one and then Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents
They're
was. I don't even know. Like that show
oh,
was. And
It's a
there's some.
fever.
Yeah, yeah. I'll always forget. I'll always remember the line. I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway. And then he breaks down the door with a battering ram.
Yeah. And
That.
then
Um,
Cosmo gets Oof and not Wanda.
Yeah, and
yeah.
then Dinkelberg. Like those are the only
It,
things I remember from that entire show. Um,
I remember the movie with we're pixies, and
oh,
then the give me the wand when he's like the genie and it's like a fairy idol, I think it is, and it was like the
oh
knockoff.
yeah, because the genie can grant any kind of wish. He doesn't have any rules. And then like the main like the guy in charge of all the fairies was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger like impressionist. And then like Wanda's old flame was an Elvis impressionist. Or no, he was like his name was like Ricardo or something stupid like that.
Mo,
What?
Juandissimo.
Wandissimo. That sounds right. Yeah, I stopped watching after they introduced the poof, the baby, because I didn't care at that point.
That's about when I
But I remember
stopped.
that show was wild. And I remember the song Icky
Mm-hmm.
Vicky. Every kid in my elementary school knew the song Icky Vicky by heart. It was
My shiny teeth and
Ew.
me is still a bop.
My Shiny Teeth and Me. Yeah,
I
yeah. No, that show was the
took
beginning of like
Skylar.
the kids cartoon making like banger songs, and then Phineas and Ferb was like, let's make it into an entire genre, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
Gitchy Gitchy Goo was like, how did that song not chart? I don't understand. Um,
Oh yeah.
and then
Or
I've Got Rhythm, or I Ain't Got
oh
Rhythm.
yeah.
I Ain't Got Rhythm. That song was just good. That's just a good song.
Or they're like, you're the one that stops the bar, like tops the bar. Da, 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 you're fabulous.
Yeah,
You're
those were all from the same episode.
the what?
Those both were from the same episode. Yeah,
Yeah, Finn Burt was like that was a very like solid show.
yeah. That's another one of those shows that ends with a movie where remember that they chase the sun to make the last day of summer last longer.
Oh,
I don't
that's
think I ever saw that.
that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
Why, that's how I'm feeling.
yeah. And then they had an epilogue where like Isabella and Phineas get together and it's a whole thing.
Okay, no, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
they're adults. I've seen that. I've seen those clips, and like
And,
Ferb is
and Ferb ends up with Vanessa, who is like canonically like 4 years older than him. Oh, it's wild, man. Of course, the real highlight. Remember that show was like the plot. The main plot was always like they've built this cool thing with their friends, and Candace is trying to bust them, and that's the main plot. And there was always the subplot of Perry the Platypus versus Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and that was the best part of every episode. I didn't give two shits about what Phineas and Ferb were doing. I wanted to follow the adventures of Perry the Platypus. I just want to know like who in the writers' room was like, Man, we've got a really interesting plot here with these two genius brothers and their tattletale sister. But what are we going to do for a subplot? And one of them was like, how about we make them have a pet platypus who's also a secret agent who is constantly doing battle with a vaguely Eastern European failed evil scientist? And they were like, sell it. And I'm like, who did that? Who was like, this is what?
Remember his birthday one? He's like, it all started with my first birthday. My parents weren't there. It shows like an empty, like, pregnant delivery room.
I don't know why that like sticks with me. That scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
His dad got a only son.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that one?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
Of two genius brothers with two genius sisters and Johnny Test.
Johnny Test!
That show was so like
The American Dragon.
I never watched that show.
I never did either.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. But
Yeah.
Johnny Test.
Johnny Test was like, I didn't want to watch Johnny Test because like it wasn't as good as the other shows, but it was always
It was
on.
always on, especially on Saturday mornings.
Like you turn on TV and Johnny Test begins to play, and you're like, God, and like it had some bangers. Like their opening theme was an absolute smash hit, man. They had, but like every episode was the same, and it was kind of boring. And they used the whip crack sound effect like 50 times per episode.
I was.
But Jake the American.
I'm sorry, but his dog was named Dookie. Who let them do that? Who was like, we're gonna name one of our main characters of the show. We'll make him like a middle-aged, like narcissistic man, and we'll name him Dookie. That'll go well. Sorry, I just can't ever. I'll never let them live that down.
I get
But yeah,
that.
Jake the American Dragon was so good. I was like this teenage boy, and I believe San Francisco, and he could change into a dragon, and like it was really good. It represented Asian people so well.
That's,
But it was on Disney XD, I think.
uh,
I feel like that's what they put the reject like shows though. Like Disney XD was like, oh, this doesn't fit Disney style. I'll just give it to XD.
Yeah. Which of you watched Danny Phantom? Okay. Okay.
Danny
Good.
Phantom.
Yes.
That was one of those ones that was like that like inspired the next generation of animation. I feel like because it was just so like uniquely made. Same with like Powerpuff Girls, how it kind of inspired the next generation of Cartoon Network shows. But Danny Phantom kind of informed the next generation Nickelodeon shows and those kinds of things. Yeah. Did you guys ever watch like old cartoons like your parents would show? Not like black and white like Mickey Mouse stuff, but like Scooby Doo, like the old Scooby Doo shows and Hanna-Barbera and stuff like that. I watched it all the time at my grandparents' house. That was we watched more anything was those. Sorry?
Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry.
I remember Tom and Jerry was always on at noon or something, and I remember from like 11:59 a.m. noon would turn into p.m. and I always wanted to see it shift from a.m. to p.m. but I didn't want to miss Tom and Jerry, so I could never watch like the clock change, and I would have to like run in the living room, then run back in the kitchen to look at the clock. And
yeah, like Tom and Jerry, and then like the Looney Tunes. Did you guys ever watch Tiny Toons?
No.
That was like with like Babs and Buster Rabbit. They were all like Bugs' kids and stuff. It was all like the junior, but it was like way more adult of a show than Looney Tunes was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember shit, what's it called? Oh, the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
I never watched those. Like those be on, but I wasn't interested in those as much as
I wasn't
was,
either, but I remember like my parents would sometimes.
Yeah. Tom and Jerry was that show though that like if Tom and Jerry was on, you weren't gonna get anything else done because you were gonna watch.
I had to watch it.
Huh?
Like you had to watch it. It was so good.
Do you remember how that ended?
No.
Oh, where they sit on the train line and then they get hit by a train, and that's how the show
so
canonically ends.
And they kill them.
They commit suicide. That's how the show like canonically ends. They're like, well, Tom and Jerry just give up fighting, and they just decide to embrace each other as they die. Oh, it's wild.
Wait,
Um,
remember that one show? It was like something the Barbarian. It was
Oh,
that Barbarian family
oh,
Cartoon Network, I think. Like Todd the Barbarian or John the Barbarian.
something like that.
I
I
don't
know
know.
exactly what you're
I don't
talking
know.
about.
Oh my god, that one was really old.
I don't
Oh,
know.
Well,
I remember we watched like Scooby Doo was the show that we watched all the times as kids. Scooby Doo,
what?
and then like Scooby Doo Where Are You, which was the reboot in like the late 2000s, and then Mystery Incorporated, which was like this like really high production like story driven like 2 seasons of like they have a plot and everything's scripted, and that show is just really good and you should watch it. But like that there's this the story of the Scooby Doo like mythos is just absolutely nuts. If you're ever bored, like go watch that.
Hmm. I loved all the Scooby Doo movies,
the Scooby
like
Doo zombie.
Cyber Challenge.
Cyber Chase. There was the one where Shaggy tried to fuck an alien. Um, the one where they went to that cat island thing and they fought like cat people, like
That
werecats.
Zombie
Zombie
Island.
Zombie
Island.
Island, Zombie Island. That's the one. I don't remember the zombies at all from that. Not
Oh,
even
I
kind
mean,
of.
there
I remember the cat stuff, and then the Hex
They're-
girls who were just hot. Like
Yeah.
they just were like, here's 3 hot women just in the show now. Good luck.
Yeah. And we're like, all right, cool, we'll roll with it.
That was.
Or the
that was-
Chupacabra, Abominable Snowman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always liked how those movies made Daphne into a really cool character. Like she's like an enterprising journalist now, which is wild. Um, I liked how those movies made her into like an actual character and not just like the
I love
ditzy redhead who falls into traps.
the live action
I was just about to say
Scooby Doo. The two. Oh, good. Latex Velma.
Latex Velma was an awakening.
was like- Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else about that. Those movies were horrifying though as kids because like the CGI was just so uncanny. Like Scooby Doo in those movies, man. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh.
It was like we can't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
James
but
Gunn
like
do them?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure James Gunn like directed or produced or something.
Yeah. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
in one of the movies, doesn't Fred like have a jousting competition with like the Black Knight, and he uses like a lance on a motorcycle? I don't know. It was like super epic. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
James
no.
Gunn produced them.
Amazing.
And wasn't there like another one with like the black-haired Freddy? Wasn't there another action
Oh,
like
and
live
like
action?
in like 2015, they did like a straight to TV one that was just bad. Yeah. Have any of you guys seen the new Scooby Doo movie? I haven't seen it.
I have.
There's-
I
Yeah.
think it's just called Scooby.
Or
Oh,
Scoob.
Scoob.
It's called Scoob.
Starred on my list for HBO. I need to watch it.
I
I've
should watch it too, just because I consider myself like a Scooby Doo fan, so I should watch it. On that note, we should probably go ahead and end up the episode here. If you want to talk us out. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you liked the show, give us a like and a subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another episode.
If you
Yep,
guys-
leave a comment. Talk about a certain topic because we'll probably do it.
And if you guys have any like shows we didn't talk about that you want to talk about, just like talk about it in the
Leave
comments.
it in the comments. All right, goodbye.
All right, bye everybody.
Yeah.